And Are You Okay is a not safe for work podcast, so any young listeners are discouraged from continuing. However, we literally have no way to track that, so do whatever the hell you want and enjoy the show.
All right, we took a break on dropping episodes. We were still recording them though.
I mean, hey, we put stuff out.
Look, facts. But no, they were good. I did a lot of nothing, which was the goal, especially the year that we had all collectively, both personal and professional. I took a break. Did a lot of nothing.
A lot of nothing is good by my books.
I mean, look, we had a busy 2023. we've been moving a lot on all fronts. So
shaking,
right, shucking and jiving,
relaxing.
You know, spazzing on a bitch.
I've heard you got to be in the know to know. You know,
I understand. I can see that. I can see, but you know, you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know you're not in the know, does that make you in the know?
No, because you have to know that you're in the know.
But if I don't know that I didn't know the know to be in the know, then I assume I just know stuff.
Double no negative.
You know, that's you know.
I see what you're saying. That's
a Star Wars podcast.
Oh, you're listening to Are You Okay?
A Star Wars podcast.
Star Swag Riz Key to Riz podcast.
You already know. Look, I mean, you're not wrong. I feel like we be
know that they're in the know.
Now they know.
Now they know. But like when they don't know that they're in the know, there's like a level of coolness because they're like they don't even care.
You know. You just go with the no. You know, and name of this episode.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We back.
We've been scraping the bottom of the barrel for that one. Matt, it feels like it's been forever since I talked to you, and even though it's not
been
really
a year. It's been a year.
First time we've spoken on camera since 2023.
You know. Damn, now I'm gonna keep now I'm conscious of how much I might say, you know. It's
I think having you know is way better than how many times I've said like or in between sentences. So if you know is your
I don't even think it's my I just don't think I ever realized I said it a lot until it's been highlighted. Now I'm gonna go back and listen. Take a shot every time I say it. I'm like, there's another one.
I don't know if you recall, but there was a time where I was gonna put a blaster bolt in for every single time I said and literally the first time I was going to do it,
too many blaster bolts. You ran out of bullets.
That I literally was like, fresh out.
Han shot first.
Okay. No chance. Well, anyway, you were listening to Annie, Are You Okay?
Star Wars podcast again.
A Star Wars podcast again, because you got to be in the know to know of Star Wars.
You know?
I am your host, Mikey.
The human holocron himself.
That's right. I got to accept these titles, you know?
Look, bro.
And I'm here with Matthew Porter, Rogue One. Are you checking in?
I'm checked in, brother. I checked in.
I checked in 2024.
As Christmas presents, because, you know, we've talked about and verbalized, you know, how, you know, DB, Are You Okay? We're like a multiverse of nerddom from Star Wars and Dragon Ball. So eloquently put by Skylar, our communal guest, that, you know, Dragon Ball Z is the Star Wars of the anime world and vice versa. So for Christmas, I bought a lot of our podcast themed dad hats. So I got the Matty Ice, you know. I got the Majin, the M, and then it didn't come. It's supposed to come on Saturday. I got a Star Wars themed one. I'll hold off. I want you to see it in real time, so I'll wait for that one to come.
I'm excited to see it in real time. I will say this: it was surprising to our listeners for sure. Have not watched a ton of Star Wars in the past couple weeks. I've let my other fandoms
cleanse your palate.
But I did have a very Star Wars Christmas. Got a lot of Star Wars gifts. As people know me as the Human Krolocron, it is only natural that I'm easy to shop for. That's. I think it just makes it easy.
Low hanging fruit.
And I'm very happy with my Star Wars gifts. Shout out to Vicky, Ray, the Ruiner, Star Wars jacket and Star Wars socks. Of course, she knows me. My buddy, Vicky, she was my secret Santa, and she got me 2 Lego sets to build out my clone army. I'm here for it. And just got to acknowledge it on the pod. Thank you for the Star Wars related gifts, friends.
Shout outs to friends who get you things that they know you like.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was a very Star Wars Christmas. This is the first year we did a Star Wars Lego Advent calendar. They put one out every year. I highly recommend. It was a fun little thing to do. Got me in the Christmas spirit and the Star Wars mood all December as we counted down to Christmas, which is a very hectic time of year for my line of work, but that was a nice little way to end my day. So,
well, Michael, someone who wasn't in the Christmas and or Star Wars spirit this year or last year, one Adam Driver.
That is a fact. Thank you for starting us off with this. I know we joked yesterday, but I just feel like we have to. I'm ready to clown on this man.
I'm here for it.
I love Adam Driver.
He was my favorite thing about the sequel trilogies.
But he recently said that he was done with Star Wars. Although it was an article that IGN put out, and what the hell does IGN know? But at the same time,
I feel like they be right more than they're wrong.
Yeah,
it's not saying much, but it's saying something.
They're a large publication, but at the same time, it's is he done though? Is he really done though?
Yeah.
Harrison Ford was done with Star Wars, and look what happened with him.
Very true. Very true.
He showed up 2 more times.
He did show it to me. I mean, but that could also be a case of you're just okay with being wrong until you're right. If he shows back up in the Star Wars thing 30 years from now, someone's gonna be I knew he was coming back. Bro, he technically did stay gone.
Yeah, for a while.
It's semantics at that point.
I'm just saying, when Harrison came back, he didn't just do The Force Awakens. He also ushered in Alden Ehrenreich, and was a helpful part of that process, and for the Solo movie, even though he had nothing to do with it, that to me is just in and of itself, someone he said he was out, but there's a lot of care and affection for what he created, and I feel like Adam Driver is probably the same way. So
yeah,
I'm gonna raise a nose up to that one and be like, sure you are, Mr. Driver.
And even because even his verbiage was just, it wasn't fuck Star Wars. It was they're doing stuff, it's just not with me. It's just it was kind of open-ended. But I will say, if he doesn't return to Star Wars, I won't be I can't believe he was telling the truth, because a lot like John Boyega, I feel like Adam Driver does take care of his characters that he plays. He puts a lot of stock in the equity, and he's not here for the cash grab. He won't do a cameo just to say that Kylo Ren or Ben Solo has showed up. He'll be if it don't make sense and it's not good for the story, John Boyega was saying, I'm not about to come back just to come back. It has to make sense. It has to be good. It has to be something that the fans can sink their teeth into. I could see him also being kind of one of the more upset people with how his storyline ended. I mean, he might have liked it, but I'm going to say he didn't, because that shit was ass, because he kissed his cousin.
I think that that's fair. And then that, who knows what they end up doing with the character. I don't see a lot of opportunities for them to bring him back, but I think that no one's ever really gone, as Luke said, in The Last Jedi. And that's how I feel about
I like what you did there.
Fucking character in the saga. So we got that out of the way. I'm going to drop a little spoiler warning in here.
We'll find a way.
Because we not only will we find a way, but we're about to talk about something that you and I are quite passionate about that has a lot of spoilers from its previous season. So today we are going to discuss the oddly absent Bad Batch Season 3 trailer and what we are looking forward to about the show's final season. And then at the end of the show, we're also going to talk about the awesome fan-animated Anikan vs. Obi-Wan by Hello There, which is on YouTube. That'll be linked in the description.
Hello there.
This thing has taken social media, like Star Wars social media, by storm. If you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, I'd be quite honestly surprised, but we will get to it when we get to it. So why don't we take a moment here to punch it and hyper dive.
Hyper dive. I feel like we need like a... I'm pretty sure he hasn't been a part of the Star Wars universe, and if he hasn't, it's a crime. He definitely should be. When we're talking about spoilers, because I don't know, for some reason, every time you say spoilers, I usually always respond with like, "We'll find a way." Then I think about Jeff Goldblum saying like, "Life finds a way." We should just put that sounder in here.
Star Wars yet.
We should put that sounder in here randomly, like for our spoiler warnings.
Yeah. We'll find a way.
Spoilers find a way. Wait, why hasn't he been in the Star Wars universe?
Too busy playing around in Marvel, I think. He loves being a Grandmaster.
Yo, I feel like the Grandmaster would have fit on like the casino planet in Last Jedi, bro. Would have been perfect.
If there's one character from Marvel who could cross over, I feel like it's him.
1000%. Jeff Goldblum is really the Watcher. He just fits anywhere. And you can just stick him anywhere and it works. Feel like you'll be back. Feel like you'll be back. Feel like we'll be back. All right, well, I don't know whose mic's recording, so if it's mine, let's want to open this up for some Q&A. You guys got some Q and some A for me? Fans? Put some questions in the comments and I'll somehow figure out how to make this past audio answer them. You know, I feel like a fan asked what my favorite color is. Purple. Thanks for asking. You know, favorite food? Oh, wow. Pescatarian. You know, so, but before I went pescatarian, spaghetti. Spaghetti and meatballs was my meat sauce, specifically, was my bread and butter. You know, well, give me a sec. Mikey's texting. So it wasn't me. It was the Human Holocron had to reboot. So I'm sure he'll put a little cool sounder in here. So thank you for the fans that asked all their questions in post. Hopefully I was able to answer some of them. Favorite movie? Oh, thank you for asking. The Sandlot. Favorite movie all time. It's The Sandlot. I'll give you my 5. The Sandlot, Hook, Remember the Titans, The Princess Bride, and then my 5th one usually be having like recency biased. Cause like sometimes it be like The Dark Knight, you know. Other times it could be there's this Keanu movie called Street Kings that if you've never seen it, cinematic excellence. It's not like the best acted movie ever, but every time I watch it, I get something new of the plot. You know, hope Mike has a good time listening to all this as I just fill the time. A lot of exciting things coming up in the DB4L Annie Are You Okay, aka DB Are You Okay world. Dragon Are You Okay? Annie Ball Z? We'll workshop it. You know, Mike, when you hear this, you let me know what you think, you know? Lifers, Are You Okay? Something like that.
Who doesn't love technical difficulties?
I can't wait for you to play this back because I just started talking just to feel, because I didn't know how long you're going to be froze. So I just talked this whole time. Just about the most randomest things.
Yeah, if it's worth living, you can put a very large feather in your cap because I mean your ability to ad lib is
I legit was just talking.
That's fine. We made our Jeff Goldblum point. I'm sure what you had to say about him crossing universes was eloquent and filled with Marvel Easter eggs. But we're here to talk about Star Wars. So
yeah. No, you know what's funny? I didn't even like expound on that point. I just was like, hey, to fill time, I'm just gonna talk. just started talking about stuff.
So your 401ks could probably use a little bit of a boost this year.
Adjacent. It was adjacent conversations to that. You're gonna have a blast. You're gonna have a blasty blast. I was out here giving TED Talks. It was great.
Well, the audience loves you for it.
I mean, I just try to do my best by my friends and neighbors. That's all.
Let's dive into the main topic here. The missing. I just think it's weird that we haven't gotten a season 3 trailer yet from our favorite Bad Batch of clones over there. You know, we got Hunter, Rekka, Tick.
Omega.
Tick.
Please RIP the tech. I know I drove this point home when we talked about this back then. Not shortchange that death. That was beautifully done. It was chef's kiss. I don't need
until he comes back,
bro. I feel it coming. They bought what's the doctor's name? Pershing, or was Pershing from Andor? What was the doctor
from Mando?
Mando.
Dr. Hemlock.
Yes, I swear if they have him like pinned down, about to win, and they're gonna be like, oh, hey, why would you want to kill me? Then you'll never find Tech. And then there's like a picture of him in a cell somewhere. Ugh, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Yeah, and I'm here for it. That's right.
I don't want it.
Out of nowhere. Listen, if they don't bring him back, poignant sacrifice. Very well done. Selfishly,
it was.
I grew to love him so much over season 2.
I mean, that last episode made me like love him more. And his pod racing episode was really awesome.
That one was really good. I think for the moment that it really hit home for me was when him and Omega have that little chat in the cave. In the cave,
yeah.
Yeah, after Echo leaves, and he's like, "I process feelings just differently."
Where she basically was just like, "Hey, how come you don't like me and everyone else does? You don't like me?"
In reality, he's like, "I love all my brothers. I just don't know how to." The thing is that like Tech to me is the Donatello of the Bad Batch, so it surprises me that you are fine with him being gone.
So I'm not rolling, because even though Donnie is the Brainiac, he's 1000% an empath. Like, I feel like all the Turtle brothers are like super emotionally codependent upon each other.
yeah, they definitely lean on each other for sure.
But I do see the parallel. I do see the parallel. You know what? No, I mean, you already know Crosshair is my favorite guy. That's my dude. Like, I'm torn whether or not, you know what? Fuck it. Against all my better natured takes in the past, I would love for Crosshair to get a redemption arc. I feel like he deserves it at this point.
Yeah, for sure. And I think this is one of they did not focus on Crosshair quite as much in season 2.
I feel like that was intentionally done.
For sure, because I think they're about to give him a much larger role in season 3. Mm-hmm. However, his 2 like main focus episodes in season 2 of Bad Batch are some of the more darker. Like, I feel like they were in their bag when they made those episodes. I remember texting you after they came out. I was like, yo, because I think it was airing at the same time as Andor.
That sounds accurate.
It was airing at the same time as
it was something else. Yeah, it was something else.
But I was like, yo, this was real. Oh, it was Mando. Mando was airing at the same time. I was like, Matt, Mando is good. Bad Batch this week, peak.
Yeah,
I remember. Like, I was like,
are you talking about the episode where they were on the snow planet? Is that the one you're talking about? Because I know he had or the other one.
The one where he's out with Cody.
Okay, got you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that was an amazing episode.
Good. Yeah, because we don't really get to see things from like the Separatist perspective too much.
Yeah.
I feel like the Bad Batch has been doing a really good job of showing the Separatists post Clone Wars, obviously. But man, those episodes are really poignant. They're just it's the best show nobody's talking about. It's like really how the Bad Batch feels when it comes to like Star Wars content.
It's rings of power, bro. Like, I just don't understand. Really I don't understand why people don't love it. Like, I just don't get it. Like, it makes no sense to me.
It really blows my mind. Some of the darker stories have been told in Bad Batch. Like, Bad Batch's tone, like the tone reaches levels of seriousness that the only other thing that I feel like can touch it is Andor. Yeah. So it shocks me that people aren't more on board with this, considering how many people love Andor.
Yeah. I don't get it. And then like people love the clones. Like that's like that like saved Star Wars.
You could actually make that argument for sure that the Clone Wars like really did save Star Wars. Like I don't know if there was much meaningful media coming out other than that.
Definitely wasn't. And we had because I mean, Episode 3. You know, we both said that, you know, we've been vocal like that's our favorite Star Wars movie. It was like that was, and for all intents and purposes, in my head, a really good book ending. So it's like, you know, I was content with, you know, them just doing like, because pre-Clone Wars, I feel like after Revenge of the Sith, they would do like just like, oh, we still want to make money off this type things. But it was just like, you know, ticky-tacky things that, you know, like didn't really like enhance my, you know, experience of Star Wars. Just like, oh, if I see it, cool. If I don't, cool. But then Clone Wars came in. It was just like, oh shit, like this is cool. And then it was like, oh, this is great. And then it got ripped away from us. And then that's when we just started like having the junkie itch. Like we need Star Wars again. And then it just started rolling.
I'm really glad that like for Clone Wars to be canceled when it was, and I was like very like obviously we knew Disney was around the corner. If they hadn't announced movies were on the way, and then like Rebels was also quickly in development after
we would have rioted.
The first time, I think I would have rioted. Luckily Rebels was such a good show and got off to such a good start in my opinion that it didn't feel like I was missing a ton, or there wasn't like that huge gap of time where I felt like there was like a drought in content. But Bad Batch came right off the coattails of arguably the best season of Star Wars animation in the final season of the Clone Wars. I mean, people don't like the Martez sisters arc, but the first Bad Batch arc that introduced them is kind of like a soft...
Yeah, that was an amazing episode. I love that episode. It was
like a pilot. Pilot, that arc.
Yeah.
Like to test the waters, and it was really good. And then the Siege of Mandalore, and then they took that tone and just turned it into a show. And
so do you think that the Bad Batch group was always going to be a show, or the popularity of how they were in that Clone Wars episode, it was like, oh shit, we need to give these guys their own show? Like what came first, the chicken or the egg?
I know for a fact that the people working on the Clone Wars were big fans of the Bad Batch and had planned another arc in the show post the one that we got. And it never got made, but there was room for stories to be told with them. And I think that they were like, you know what, we're reviving the Clone Wars, but we're like, we have this animation team, let's do other things with it. Bad Batch had to have been one of the first things that got pitched in that meeting. My other feeling is that Tales of the Jedi came after that, and they're like, let's take this style, let's take these assets and tell, you know, the audience that grew up with Clone Wars, they're older now. I think that Bad Batch and Tales of the Jedi, like, it's for the people who grew up with those shows. Not to say that it can't be for a younger or older audience, just that it was like, I think that's the target audience.
Oh hell yeah, 1000%.
Yeah, and I'm down with that. I'm honestly like, if they continue to do Star Wars animation and they just choose to do it in this style that they've developed that like invokes what we're looking at, I'm totally fine with them going up that vein, because this is the final season of the show. There's a few things I just wanted to ask you, like personally. You know, in season 1 they dropped a handful of Rebels characters in, and they haven't quite tied up some loose ends concerning, you know, how it fits into the revolution on Ryloth, and also you know, I doubt we'll see Kanan again, but there was a pop in of Gungi in season 2. Like, do you think that we are going to revisit some of the characters from season 1, and what story arcs are you looking forward to them kind of like cleaning up or expanding upon in the final season of this show?
In terms of like the crossover with Rebels, or just like in Bad Batch itself? In Bad Batch itself. Okay. There was a lot that I feel like kind of just like hung up in the air. We've gotten like verbal cues of like Omega like what was her purpose and her point and everything, but I don't feel like we really got like a fully flushed out like why are you here type situation. And or does Boba Fett know about her, because that's like effectively his sister like, you know, they were both clones made with the decelerated aging so they could like grow normal and stuff like that.
You know me, I thought that she was going to show up in Book of Boba Fett, so
yeah, me too. I was rolling with you. That was
part of it.
So I would love to see and especially now with the spoiler, the introduction to older Omega, old Mega, the sister, like her sister or whatnot. So the fact that there were other females made, or at least one other female, I would like for them to kind of revisit like Omega's inception or creation, for lack of a better word. So I definitely would love to see that, because like when we got introduced to her in season 1, she was kind of like already in a flow of just like how her life was, like, you know, being like an assistant on Camino and stuff like that. So she kind of was like already ingratiated in everything. So I would love to see like, you know, just a more telling as to like, you know, what was the reason behind her? Why was she the original? Why did they choose to make her a female? Then they switched. It was like, no, never mind. Let's make them boys. And there was that other female. Are they the only 2 females? And I feel like we are going to get that, because that being like the big twist, I feel like is you wouldn't do that without showing that twist. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy. Eminem, back at it.
You feel me?
Best chocolate snack, but in reality,
we gonna Frankenstein that and figure out how to make that work. but it's funny, like you froze as I was explaining to you what happened when you froze. So the way you had froze, I thought you were just like listening to me intently, and I was like, oh, he's really fucking with what I'm saying. Let's go.
Well, I really was fucking with what you were saying until I could no longer hear what you were saying.
So you didn't miss that much. So after I had said the part about Omega's inception, I was saying like, because our introduction to her in season 1, she was kind of already in the flow of her time on Camino. Like she was already like an assistant to Tom Wee, like just kind of existing, going through her day to day. So I would like I think it'd be cool to see like, not necessarily flashbacks to how she got there, but like what was her purpose? Like, you know, Boba Fett ended up being, you know, like the model they used for the clones. So like, why did they switch from girl to boy? Like those types of things I would like to see. And is the older Mega the only other female? Is it just them 2? Are there more? I would like answers to those questions.
Yeah, no, I think for sure. And like, you know, obviously growth acceleration is the thing in the Star Wars universe. So for all we know, the older Omega.
Oh yeah, she might be younger than her. Right. True story. And she has the brown hair like them. So yeah, well, like Boba Fett. So yeah, maybe.
Right. And why does Omega have the blonde hair?
Yeah, that too. Some Skywalker. She got some Skywalker in there.
Well, yeah, maybe that's the thing. Maybe she has like maybe she has another donor. Well, I mean, they kind of made it out to be like it's the true Jango Fett like DNA, just with female chromosomes instead of male chromosomes. But perhaps they were trying to do something with force sensitivity. There was always that vibe that she could be. Yeah.
Like in season 1, I feel that.
And she doesn't need to be. I'm not going to say if she's not. But I feel like there has
totally
to be
fine.
something in her DNA that is defective, like the rest of her brothers in the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
What I would love to see is if she had the capabilities of all of them.
Oh, like they like unlocked as she ages or something. That'd be dope.
Like she has the technical prowess of Tech, the sharpshooting abilities of Crosshair, the tracking and hunting and like the location abilities of Hunter,
and the strength of Wrecker.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be fire.
Like
I'd fuck with that.
Inside her, making her kind of like the ultimate super soldier, and then in the future potentially maybe the ultimate bounty hunter for all we know.
And then, you know, it's funny, like so after you asked me the question, my second thing that I would love to see wrapped up is kind of like, as I'm about to say it, it's making me think that Tech might be alive, and I'm gonna be so sick. And without like kind of going back to the Crosshair's redemption arc, I don't think he's going to make it out of the show. And because of that, I don't think they're going to kill off 2 members. Like, I would love if they did that. I'd be like, oh shit, like they're committing. But I think Crosshair's redemption is he's gonna die saving his brothers.
So I feel you on that, and I think that there's a strong likelihood for it, but I do feel that it's like probably going to be all or nothing.
Okay.
I get a strong sense that if one of them goes, the rest of them are going to go.
Oh, right, because that would be another loose end. Like, why haven't they been involved afterwards? And
right, where are they?
I could see
when Rex is on like that desert planet with.
Right, why aren't they with him?
Wolf.
Yeah. I could see Omega being on some like Ninja Turtles Ronin shit. Like, she's the only one that makes it out, and just kind of, you know, like, I'm just a man trying to make his way through I'm just a woman trying to make his way through the universe. like my brothers before me.
Takes Wrecker's helmet,
like a piece of something.
Bandana,
Tex goggles. Hell yeah. Crosshair's gun just, you know, loads up, just, you know, hits the universe. I could see the boys. I mean, you know what? Saying it out loud with you, I kind of want that to be the ending. Like, the boys sacrifice themselves to like save Omega. Like, she gets to get away, and they be like, you know, go out there and get you some of that life. Right.
No, for sure. Because that's what they've been fighting for.
Exactly.
Is for her to have a normal life. And maybe at the end of the day, she will hang up her helmet, right? Like
I'm
it's
here
not.
For it.
Sorry, I don't know if I think I cut out there a little bit, but maybe she will hang
up her
helmet.
You should hang up your helmet. I heard you.
Yeah, and like really live the life that her brothers fought so hard for her to have. And that to me would be a fine way to write off her character.
Why she hasn't been involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I like that.
I think there's going to be some tragic ends to some storylines here, but I would really like for there to be at least one hopeful one coming out of the show. And I think that's going to be tied to Omega. So we will see what happens.
I have a question. I have a question for you.
Sure thing.
Actually, last season, so we know there's going to be a lot of closeout. Does Sid redeem herself, and or do like the brothers get like revenge on her? Like, how do you see the Sid storyline playing out? Because, you know, spoiler alert, she sold them out. Like, I mean, and she's been warning them, like, yo, don't trust me. Like, and she sold them out, and shit kind of went super left on some, like, I feel like it'd be a super cheesy cop out. Let's do this for the kids to like make her a good guy again, like have her help them again. And I don't necessarily want that, but I'm curious as to your take as to like what happens with Sid.
I think that she's going to have a change of heart after realizing the mistake that she made. But I don't think she's going to live to see I think she's going to end up having to like, she's going to be like reluctantly helping, knowing that it's going to cost her life. But it's the only thing she can think of to make up for selling out the batch.
I fuck with it.
And if she doesn't do that, then V's going to kill her. So
I'm there with that too. I am all the way here for that too. I will say that it is one thing that it remains to be seen because the show isn't over yet. But I do like how they played the Sid portrayal, because it wasn't on some like, oh yeah, she sold him out, but it might have been part of a plan, like so type situation.
Like straight up sold them out.
Yeah, she was like, nah,
scales.
Exactly, and I like that. Like I like when a TV show just like lets a bad person be a bad person.
Yeah, and
like on some like Heath Ledger Joker, he just wanted to see the world burn. Like every bad guy doesn't need a solid motivation that makes them sympathetic. Like just make her a piece of shit.
This is a weird comparison, but it's like sometimes you need to have a Randall from Recess.
Bro, no, I'm 1000% rolling with you. I like. Because, you know, we you know, Dragon Ball for Life, you know, anime podcast, our sister pod, we're all merged in one universe. I love Cased Closed. Probably one of my favorite animes. It's definitely in my top 10. I hate how they gave every murderer a good reason for murdering. I hated that aspect about the show. Like, everyone was just like, oh, this guy murdered my sister when we were a kid, so I got him back. Like, I hated that they would always like take these crazy, heinous, elaborate murders that Conan would solve, and then at the end of it, they made you feel bad. It's like, oh, you know what?
I think like that type of
I'm fine with them.
Is, like,
I'm fine with them murdering
some of the time, but like
right. But doing it every episode, like, yeah. Especially, and that's kind of why I err on this, because for me, it feels like it's like a sitcom's version of Amnesia. It's like lazy storytelling. It's like Sid betrays them, change of heart, all is forgotten. Because it's like, for me, it resuspends belief. It doesn't suspend disbelief. It resuspends belief for me, because I'm like, that's not how a normal person wouldn't now forget that you just sold us out to the empire
100%.
just because you apologized. And like, we're not cool now again.
Yeah, let me put your mind at ease a little bit. Like, just reflect, like, you know, listeners, close your eyes. Matt, close your eyes. Think about this for a second.
My eyes are closed. I'm ready.
When have the stakes ever been low on Bad Batch?
Very true.
The risk
very true.
The risk of like versus reward has been a constant throughout this show, and I think that's why we're going to see, you know, Sid's actions had consequences, and if she's going to making up for it is going to have consequences too, and that's why I think that, like, ultimately she's probably going to have to bite it if she wants to actually help them out, and I think that's earned. Like, a change of heart is earned. If she's
followed by her immediate demise.
Exactly.
Cause you can't go back to running missions for her and working at the bar after that, no, bro. Like,
no fucking.
Like, no, it's chalk. Like, that's over. Like,
yeah,
it's done.
And it's so. I'm so glad you said that, because like that's what they've been doing for the last season and a half. So like,
yeah,
the whole, and I would assume that there might be a bit of a time skip. Like, how long are Echo, Wrecker, and Hunter looking for Omega and Crosshair?
That's a good.
Like, how long are they going to be on Mount Tantus? We have no idea. Did Rex's rebellion succeed or fail in the meantime? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah, I'm so torn, because like, I wouldn't be mad at a time skip. I kind of almost would prefer it, but the way that they ended, like with Omega and Crosshair being somewhat reunited, I'm kind of feeling like they're going to pick up like right where we left off. Like, I feel like the race to, yeah, me neither. And that's, but it's kind of like, I feel like to do a time skip, you kind of rob the audience that moment. Cause, you know, going back to, and me and you have talked about this, that conversation that Crosshair and Hunter had when, you know, they finally all saw each other again, and Hunter was just like, you know, I had to do what I had to do to protect. I'm paraphrasing, but Hunter was just like, you know, I had to do what I had to do to protect my brothers, and Crosshair was like, I was your brother too, like, and y'all left me, like, regardless of, you know, me wanting to do this, y'all left me and didn't come back. Like, I feel abandoned. That's why I stayed over here. Like, not once did y'all ever come try to get me, and we've always done shit together. Like, to that aspect, I feel like you're stealing a moment away from Crosshair to skip past the rough conversations him and Omega are going to have now that they're like co-prisoners.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's going to be very powerful. Like, Omega kind of like being on some Jiminy Cricket shit. Like, yo, like, they never stopped caring about, like, I feel like her being the person to tell Crosshair, like, yo, no matter what happens, like, they never stopped caring about you. Like, I feel like him hearing that is going to be like, oh shit, like, I thought y'all just didn't fuck with me no more.
I would really, like, they don't do flashbacks in Star Wars often, but I would really fuck with an episode of Omega telling, like, Crosshair a bunch of different stories about each of her brothers, like, doing something in remembrance of Crosshair.
I mean, if you just start back where we stopped, that could be just an episode. Right?
Like, that would be a good way to have.
That would be a great episode.
Like, Tech come back for an episode, but he's not really there.
Yeah, it's not really Tech. Yeah. Because then I can see it. Like, it could play out like if they're like both locked in a cell together, or in like not even the same cell, like cells that like share a wall and they're like both backed up against the wall. And he's just like, and Omega's telling like Omega, like they're super silent, and Omega out of nowhere is just like, they never stopped caring about you, And Crosshair's like, whatever.
You can't give me a toothpick. I don't really want to talk about it.
Exactly. Like, no, Rekka talks about you often. Star Wars, come get us, bro. Disney, just come get us, dog. So
we never told the listeners the Animaniacs. We never told them to unopen or unclose their eyes, so they got the whole visual.
Oh shit! Yeah, they yelled on. Look,
they just word picture, my friend.
Look, bro, you see it? Now when that shows up in Bad Batch this season, y'all know where it came from.
Right here.
A Star Wars podcast. But yeah, I'd be fine both ways. But I think even now that we're like even talking about it more, I think I would prefer them to just pick up like literally right where they left off. Just Omega and Crosshairs locked up, sitting in a dungeon somewhere, having that heart to heart conversation. Because we did get to see Crosshair like starting to like not even starting. He like was trying to get away to warn the boys. He was like, bro, it's a trap. Don't come here. And he was trying to, and they gassed him. So it was just like, he's already on some like, damn, like, we all said some things that we might have meant or might have not meant, but like those are my brothers. Like these guys don't understand me like my brothers do. And that kind of is a very perfect soliloquy of the shows, like you were just saying, Mike. Like the thing about the Bad Batch is they were clones that all have something wrong with them. So it's like y'all was never gonna fit in with the normies. Like you was always gonna be odd man out, no matter how much you complied or followed the whims. Like you were always like an abomination, to throw out a word that gets used in fantasy shows all the time. So yeah, we done hyped it up, and we don't even know when it's coming.
Yeah, we don't even know if this is part of the plot.
Right, so, it could be something. We could be totally wrong. Yeah.
I have this one more thing I want to discuss, kind of before we move on, just because we don't know what's going on. But I do think that this is going to either be a major part of the season, or maybe it's going to be something pushed to the wayside. But there was a 1 episode break from the batch, if you will, in the middle of season 2, where they dealt heavily with the clones being represented in the Galactic Senate and the Empire.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
It was a very good episode, but it ended with us realizing there was a deprogrammed clone turned bounty hunter. We don't really know like what that's about. It's like almost like a sleeper cell clone type thing, and that is something that Rex is heavily investigating. I'd imagine that Hunter, Echo, and Wrecker have nowhere else to go but to go back to Rex at this point. Do you think that we see them play out most of their roles in the season working under Rex while they try and figure out where Omega is? Or do you think that they go there at first and then set off on their own path, and we start seeing kind of like these converging episodes where they do take some time away from our main cast to like flesh out the final and overarching like climax of the show?
Right. How many episodes is Bad Batch, or how many episodes have there been?
16 a season.
16 a season. Okay, so that's not too many. So we can't really do too much. I could see, because do the boys, do they know where Omega, or do they know about like the hidden island in the mountains?
They don't know that Omega is there.
Gotcha. All right, so I have 2 trains of thought. So my logic head says that even if they had to guess where she is, that should be one of your first couple guesses. Like if they already know about it. So like my logic head wouldn't be surprised if they were just like, well, we don't know where she is. This is a good place to start. And then like, whether it's a failed attempt, successful attempt, whatever it is. But as me and Ray, the Ruiner, like to say, TV's going TV and the movie's going to movie, and we got a beginning, middle, and end to sell to the people. It would not surprise me if, you know, there's an episode where the boys are kind of like spiraling and they're like, what are we going to do? We don't know where she is. And then like the conversation is led to like, hey, we know someone who might be able to help. Let's go talk to Rex. And that could turn into Rex could be like, I know someone who might know where she is. And that like, that's what takes us on like a little side quest to get information to then find Omega. Cause I feel like it kind of puts you in it kind of puts us in a Game of Thrones season 8 situation, because they had the Night King and Cersei Lannister. They totally fumbled the bag doing the Night King first. And I will always say that, but it's just like with the Omega Crosshair stuff. And then obviously we gotta rescue her, reunite the guys, people and or persons need to die. Like the story needs to be told and everything. So I can see it both ways, but because TV's always going TV, kind of what you were just saying, I think that is the way they're going to go. I think like the first episode or the first couple is going to be, or the first episode will be them seeking out Rex to say like, hey, we can't find Omega. We need your help. Can you like put this, you know, Island of Misfits Toys rescue squad together? And I could see Rex on some like, oh yeah, I know some people who could help us, but you know, we got to go to some dangerous places and do some things for some people to get some information. I could see them having to like run some side ops to overall get the location of Omega, just to kind of like, because if they want the rescue to be like the end, like the last couple episodes and them finally going to get her, then we got to fill time. And that could be the way you do it. Like having to run some, maybe not missions, because I don't want them to feel like, I don't want it to come across like the boys are doing jobs while Omega's in prison and they're like, oh, they forgot about Omega. But I can see them spinning it like Rex is like, oh, if this person's gonna help us, we need to gain their trust, so we got to do this. Like, I know you guys want to go rescue her, but like we need a plan type of situation, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. I think that that's a logical kind of like plot device for them to use to flesh out the season a little more. I think that it's kind of, I don't want to say it hampers their storytelling ability, because Star Wars has always been told out of order, but knowing that like Rex technically isn't a criminal of the Empire, but he is kind of like building up the rebellion or helping this like early rebellion. Like I kind of want to know what makes him give up on the fight. I would really like for that story to be told within the Bad Batch.
Damn,
for all we know, it could be a matter of, you know, we don't know what happened to Cody, so maybe Cody's death ends up just being like, you know what, I've lost too many of my brothers. Like,
Commander Cody.
I don't want to lose anymore. Let's call it quits. You know,
pre the Bad Batch, Cody was my favorite clone. Great
clone.
Great clone.
I love Rex too. Obviously, there's a few others. He doesn't love fives. big facts. But yeah, like I would really like to see that, and I know it's not the Batch's story, but like maybe the Batch can play into it in some manner. Maybe the final mission that the clones embark on that guts them is going to save Omega.
I was just about to say, maybe kind of going in theme with the boys sacrificing themselves. Maybe the boys like tell Rex to take Omega and go, like get her out of here. Maybe like that's the gut punch that he's like, yo, I can't do this no more. Like, you go get that life that they told you to get. I'm gonna go get me some of that too. Like, I'm done.
I really like that. It'd be a really somber way to close the show, but still kind of give us that. They just deserve it, you know? Like they by the time this has happened, like they'll have been through so much that it's like, dog, go live your life. Like you were bred to be soldiers, but like that's not all you are. You're fucking living, breathing, you know, in their case they are human beings, but like, you know, for anyone in the Star Wars universe, they're like sentient, functioning life form. They deserve a chance at happiness and like to live their life outside of one simple function.
You know what I would love to see? I don't know how this turned into a fan casting episode of Bad Batch while we're here. I would love to see if, like, I don't know, let's just throw a super cliche and you can insert whatever the doom is here. I would love to see a situation where if it's like, you know, they rescue Omega, they're escaping the mountain, let's say it's about to explode or it's about to blow or whatever the impending doom would be. I would love to see, Crosshair trying to make the sacrifice play, being like, no, like I betrayed you guys. I did too much. Like, let me do this for you. Let me be how I atone for, betraying my brothers. You guys go and escape. And I would love to see a scene. I don't know why I see like Crosshair, like holding a door closed that might be holding back water that's going to flood the shit. I don't fucking know. But I would love to see Crosshair want to make the sacrifice play, but then the rest of the boys come back. And it's just like, we're going to do this together type time, which is what Crosshair's always wanted. Like he's just always wanted to be with his brothers. Like I would love to see that. Like they'd be like, no, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this together. And then obviously that could still play into the Rex and Omega going off and finding that piece of life. Oh man. But I would love to see that.
For this emotionally.
Yeah, I feel like that closes up the story. It kind of, all great stories typically try to end where they started. And, that's kind of like how Bad Batch literally started. Like, Crosshairs felt that he, honor and duty and everything. And the boys were like, no, blind loyalty ain't it. And then, fractured the family. Crosshair felt betrayed. The boys felt betrayed. They never got to have that conversation. Hunter and Crosshair had that conversation. I was your brother too, and you left me. And then that could be another thing where Crosshair is just like, he's accepting his brothers leaving him. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I want you guys to leave me. This is how I make the atonement. And Hunter being like, we already left you once.
We're not
type time.
Again.
We're not going to leave. Yeah, exactly. And then, they all come back and whatever like, stop whatever it is.
I lived a pretty good life. Let's blow something up.
Yeah. Exactly. Just like run into
dogs in the trash.
Yeah, just like run into a fucking a wave of stormtroopers or whatever. Like whatever the distraction needs to be for Rex and Omega to get away, but they do it together. And that's it. Brother. And then we can get like a 5 years later and Omega and Rex are like, farmers and shit. Whatever.
Well, we've obviously, we have these ideas in our head. Hopefully it plays out even better than we could possibly imagine here.
Look, yeah, I'm here for all
obviously we'll talk about this trailer as soon as it drops. I know it's coming this year. Like the show's done, it's ready. Like we're just waiting on it. So they Fire Forced us literally like a week after Fire Force season 2 ended. They put out a Twitter like, "Oh, Fire Force season 3 coming soon." That was like 4 years ago. And I don't think I'm being facetious. Like maybe 3. Like, well, it's been a minute, and like it's. They literally like had said to us like, "Oh, Bad Batch is definitely coming back 2024." But like you said, like the lack of a trailer is a bit concerning. Are we close to anything? Like, when's D23? I feel like it's hot out when D23 happens. D23 is usually in May.
Oh shit! And it's obviously not Star Wars Day ain't no time.
Yeah, that's also in May.
Star Wars celebration. Yeah, I'm about to say so.
Now. So.
Yeah, I don't think
literally 5 months from today is Star Wars Day.
Oh yeah, hey, there you go. January the 4th. Do you remember? And I'm sure we could look this up, but human holocron. I'm testing your brain here. Do you remember like what time of year seasons 1 and 2 came out?
So season 1 dropped on May the 4th. The year.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or no, I think it was the year after the Clone Wars had come out.
Okay, that sounds about right.
And then the Bad Batch season 2 came out alongside Mando. And Mando ran for 8 weeks, but Bad Batch ran for 16 weeks. So I think Bad Batch started airing in February of 2022 or 2023, I think.
So okay, so they weren't. It's not. They don't have loyalty to a season.
There's no set like, okay, we're coming back like this time. They ran for.
And Bad Batch was a Wednesday show, right? Wasn't it usually on Wednesdays?
What was the switch? Did they do Star Wars on Wednesday, Marvel on Friday?
I feel like that sounds accurate. I feel like Bad Batch was definitely a Wednesday.
Okay, so
thing.
Bad Batch season 2 started airing January of 2023.
Okay.
I'm not. I shit you not. I'm on IMDb right
was
now.
Was it January 4th? Was it January 4th?
Yep.
Look at that.
So the first 2 episodes. So we're literally a year out from when the first. So we actually, I guess technically speaking, it has not even been a full.
I wouldn't
year
be surprised.
since.
I was gonna say, hearing you say that, I wouldn't be surprised if they do like May the 4th, 2024 this year to drop it, which it's a Saturday. So, but they've done like, oh, let's drop on a specific day for the pop and then switch it back to the regular day the following week before. They've done stuff like that before.
We're not only are we dropping 2 episodes now, like on holiday.
Didn't they do that with Obi-Wan?
They dropped the following Wednesday.
Yeah.
So like we got.
And then if
3 episodes of Obi-Wan within 5 days, and then didn't get and then we got the next 3 over the course of the next 3 weeks. So it felt like it was.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they do like a hour season premiere on May the 4th, and then it just goes back to Wednesdays the 8th of May the following week.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. I mean, they have every single first episode of. Bad Batch, like on release, has been longer. Although the first time, like the first episode of the first season was an hour and 10 minutes. The second time they did a double drop. They did 2 episodes.
Just 2 episodes. Gotcha.
So
yeah. So and that kind of makes sense as to why there hasn't been a trailer, because it's like if you're not about to tease that shit in the summertime or the end of 2023 and it's not coming till May, probably gonna wait. I wouldn't be surprised
if they were willing to make the first episode of this show an hour and 10 minutes long. Maybe they'll make the season finale an hour and 10 minutes long. You know, like, I'm here for that too. Do whatever you need to do to tell the story.
And we had the strike. I'm sure the strike definitely put shit on pause, like, or pushed shit back.
I think the main thing that the strike affected was the writers and actors, and a lot of this stuff was actually finished before they even.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
So like that's kind of why I guess I'm surprised.
I'm trying to shoot bail for Star Wars.
They don't need excuses. We need content.
True.
But all right, so we can move on. Like I said earlier. Speaking
of content,
we both saw, over the weekend, the awesome.
The force was strong with that one because I sent it to you as you were watching.
The fan-animated Anakin vs. Obi-Wan by the Hello There team on YouTube. I know this has been in production for a really long time. I remember seeing clips from it, but not knowing that it was even close to being finished. So, like, Matt, you sent it to me. I can't tell you, like, 5 or 6 other people, I think, sent it to me. Same day.
Bro, you know what's crazy? Because so I didn't know that this was like a super big thing. But I guess, obviously doing the podcast with you and just, like general Star Wars overload, my algorithms, it literally was just on some like YouTube things you may want to watch type time. And it wasn't even like at the top. Like I was just kind of like bored scrolling. Like, and I was just like, oh, this looks cool. So I was like, when I had sent it to you and you told me like, oh yeah, bro, this has been in the works for a long time. I was like, oh, the universe wanted me to see this. Cause like, I just thought it was a thing. Like I just kind of just clicked on it, not realizing like the scope and the reality of what I was watching. And I was like, fuck yeah, this is dope.
It's really cool. So things that I didn't know that were part of this was, he animated a small clip of, there's like dialogue from an arc of the Clone Wars that was never officially released. It was like
at the beginning part. I've seen that. Isn't there like a really nasty, unprofessional version of that? Like the
4 unfinished episodes called the Crystal Crisis on Utapau that released at like a Star Wars celebration. They used to be on the internet. I can't find them anymore.
It's like a super like unpolished, like the very early builds from the CGI of it. I remember seeing those before.
So they that sequence in the audio is from that. And
I was about to, I felt that was really familiar. Like I was like, I remember seeing this before.
So that was cool to see. And then they obviously do like, I think the thing that I really enjoyed about this is that obviously when you're watching this fight in the movie Revenge of the Sith, it cuts back and forth between them and
the
Yoda and Sidious, which I get it from like a movie standpoint. not my favorite way that they have. Like, I would have rather seen them do each battle completely through and then go to the next one. However, they George decided to cut them together. Fine, whatever. He had to animate stuff to connect them together,
and did such a good job.
That to me is
when he force pulled Obi-Wan, and Obi like put his feet on the table to stop himself, and he like raised up. That was fucking
there were some
amazing.
Really cool creative choices that the team made to get that finish, and I really liked that aspect of it. I think that this is nothing to do with the animation team. They did a fantastic job. This actually, if it's a dig at anybody, it's a dig at the like official team that made the Clone Wars. I hate final season Anakin, like his hair on that like CGI model bothers the fuck out of me. I can't explain it. Hilarious. Like I always felt like his like when they did the animation change from season 2 to season 3, I always felt like that was enough. Like he had enough hair there that like I was like, okay, I'm convinced. Like he looks like him from the movies, but I guess it wasn't. So
they said more hair. It's like Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. He just had a mop on his head.
That's such a good comparison. But yeah, like that's the only thing that like bothered me. I kind of wished it was like the season 3 model, but I digress. It's really just a total nitpick from me. Nothing to do with like anything. And then the other thing that they added was that I didn't know was a part of it because I really just thought it was a lightsaber duel was the Vader stuff at the end was really interesting to see.
Yeah.
You know, it looked really polished. It looked almost like it wasn't animated.
You know what's funny you saying that, and I wanna prerequisite by saying this thing was amazing from top to bottom. The time that it was took, the attention to detail. You can tell that in the scene from like the high ground on, you can tell that they literally just put CGI people over that actual scene. Like you can, if you go back and watch that, like you can tell like one it's not voice acted anymore. It's legit Ewan McGregor. I think the Anakin is like still whoever that voice actor was playing for Anakin. Back and forth
with both of them, but you're right. Like the final monologue is like it's Hayden yelling.
Yeah, it's literally. But if you go back and watch it again, you could. So for a lot of it, so definitely from like the intro, I'll say probably like the first half of the video. And I'm not a CGI and or technical wizard by any means. I'm not a video game designer. That's not my calling. Like, but you can tell at like early in that for me, it seems as if they plucked the live action versions out of it and put in the CGI developed models and just let them exist in its entirety. But if you watch the end when he's doing, "You are my brother, Anakin," it literally looks like they just like pasted the CGI parts over like the human part. So like the hands are CGI, the head CGI, but it seems like it's literally like the live action Ewan McGregor's body. Like it's really weird. But it's just like, I could tell like, cause that part, I guess because it didn't need to be as crisp, because like I guess the lightsaber fight is the part that you want to be like, oh damn, they killed this shit. But this part with a guy standing on top of the hill, and you know the drop date's at midnight, and it's 11:45. Then yeah, I'm about to phone this last part in.
I'll have to go back and check it out. But
no, please do. Is that part, and the part where, at like the beginning of the fight where they're fighting in the hallway and like the slices are like the lightsabers are like slicing up the hallway and all the sparks are flying. That part too, it's legit the scene from the movie. They just like crudely put the CGI heads on like the live action bodies, like the heads and hands. And I get like, yeah, please do. But again, I loved every second of this shit. I was locked in. I watched, as soon as I finished it, I rewinded it and watched it again. Like this shit was dope as fuck. But it's just like, you know, again, being nitpicky, I did notice that.
It's like they really did do such a good job with like everything else that I must have been so mesmerized that I completely missed that. So if you're right, good catch. If you're wrong, then they just must have
go back and look,
so
bro.
Good that you thought it was just pasted over live action.
Oh yeah, what? This looks so real. Is this real Engine 5?
There are times in the Bad Batch where I'm like, this, like the environment. Sometimes I'm like, is this a picture? Like, did they take a picture?
Mm-hmm.
This is beautiful. But kudos to them. You know, there's a lot of fan animators out there that are doing a really good job.
Shout outs to Dragon Ball Deliverance.
And I really hope that, you know, I think when it's the fan animators that are working on it, and it's like these really small teams of people that are working on these things, I would imagine that they have to kind of be a jack of all trades, because with actual animation teams, there's not one person who's doing everything. You know, it's like whole teams of people working on certain stuff. Yeah. So I hope these guys land jobs doing whichever part of the process that they like the most in the industry. Like, that essentially should be a
like
fucking
the deep fake guy that got the job for Disney because his Luke Skywalker that he added for Mando. Yeah,
like that's the shit where I'm like, guys, make a sizzle reel, send that shit into like Lucasfilm Animation, get yourself some jobs, like be responsible for making the content that we like. Because I guess in the art world, I feel like you can take yourself really far, but sometimes being around other people who are really talented like raises your level of like artistry. And I'm just kind of like, if they took themselves this far by themselves, you know what I mean? What would it be like if you put them in the room with these guys who are like
with the machine behind you?
That's what I'm saying. Like they could be like on a whole nother level than the guys who are currently making it. So, you know, I just hope that they all land awesome jobs, you know, whether it's with Disney or some other animation studio. Like they clearly have a lot of talent, and it's just really cool to see. And, you know, we got to be the benefactors of people who had a lot of passion for something that we have a lot of passion for. I know that that's my favorite lightsaber duel, and I know it's your favorite lightsaber duel. So
1000%.
It's always my one question coming off this.
It's also my favorite Star Wars theme.
Battle of the
Heroes is also my favorite Star Wars music.
It's the best.
That shortly followed by Mandalorian opening theme song.
I don't know if it's my second favorite. Probably
I love with the flute.
I think it's a recorder
with the wood.
Well, I'm not
bro. That's what I'm saying. I was like, the wooden flute, the recorder. I love every second of it.
Before we close this bad boy out, one thing that I did want to ask you. Obviously, this has taken the Star Wars like fandom by storm. People are raving about this like animated thing. Call it an easy cash grab if you want, but like, do you think there's an appetite? I doubt they'll ever do it, but do you think there's an appetite to have the animation team that brought us Clone Wars and Bad Batch to completely do Revenge of the Sith in that style and give like Matt Lanter and James Arnold Taylor a stab at like doing those movies as they're, you know, like done just in the Clone Wars style, to give like the Clone Wars, it's like I don't want to call it a proper ending. The show did get a proper ending, but just to kind of see,
I get what you're saying,
see it in the style that you like watched it as, like to have both options, I think would be really cool. There's obviously an appetite for it. I just wonder if they would ever even do something like that.
So I would say, I wouldn't be surprised, and I kind of lean more towards on the side that Disney wouldn't, but I would not be surprised if, and it probably would take a fuck of a long time to do it, I would not be surprised if these guys did it. Like, because I would imagine that shit like that is the type of shit that like changes your life overnight. Like, because I'm sure they probably went from like really passionate Star Wars fans that had like a moderate following. I mean, because I don't know who they are, so they might have been like really big in the Star Wars world in terms of like, you know, fan popularity and exposure and notoriety. But I would imagine now that that's out, their shit has probably skyrocketed, pun intended. So it's like, just as me and you are having this conversation, I would imagine they're probably getting hundreds upon thousands of y'all should just do all of Revenge of the Sith. Any plans on doing any other scenes? Y'all want to do the Yoda versus Sidious next?
Like, you're not getting like their actual voice performances, though, right?
Right. But I say that to say, like, I wouldn't be surprised if I'll say this. I'll say yes, we will get a Revenge of the Sith full movie done in that style. I'm not so sure that it would be done officially.
Yeah, that's fair to say. I think that's fair. I think honestly, the only way I think that I'd be cool with Disney doing it at the end of the day is if George gave Dave the blessing, you know?
Right. I mean, I could see Dave. I mean, because like I said, this shit's probably, if it's not already on Dave's radar, and I'd be very hard pressed to say that it's not.
I know Matt.
Like, I'm pretty sure Dave
voices Anakin.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm confident that Dave has seen it. So like, I could see Dave being such like a Star Wars stan, like champion in this, or I could see like someone tweeting like, these guys should make a full movie of this, and like Dave liking that tweet, and then the world would light on fire. Like the nerd world would like, what? Dave liked the tweet. It's happening. like type of situation. So I will say at some point, maybe not anytime in the near future, especially if it's done grassroots by this team, guerrilla style, I will say yes, I do think we'll get it. I'm not 100% sure, nor am I leaning on the side of it being done by Disney.
Fair enough. All right, well, that was this week of Annie, Are You Okay? You can find me
Star Wars
and
podcast
Matt here on Annie, Are You Okay? You can find Matt over on our sister podcast, Dragon Ball for Life, with our good friend Travis.
And the sounds of Mikey Villas, so he's over there too. He's over there too.
Editing. We got our GT producer
Mike on some other shit. Oh, he been all up in the stew for you.
Shout outs to Paul for helping out over there, and shout outs to Yali, because I don't get to do that enough.
All caps.
We appreciate her. She's the executive producer over there on DB4L, and as Matt has said, there's more of an effort.
She's the face that runs the place.
There's more of an effort now to merge our two endeavors here, with Matt really at the forefront of a lot of it. So thank you for all of your help, Matt, as usual. You can find us socials, Annie, the letters Are You Okay pod on Instagram. That is where we're most active. You can find us on Dragon Ball for Life at DB4L _pod. We are most active on Instagram. We are on Twitter for both. Also, go check out last week's episode, and we did kind of like run for 2 weeks on both podcasts. Feature Skylar Giordano, the architect and good friend of ours, who made the intro, outro, lo-fi music for Dragon Ball for Life, and he started and ended my music career. He just re-released the first 8 episodes of his audio drama podcast, Omega Star 7. Please go check that out. Like the quality of his show is just next level. And if you're into sci-fi, perfect little venture away from Star Wars to just kind of scratch that itch, if you will, while we're in this drought of content from Star Wars. Can't say enough nice things. You can find them over at Team Omega Star 7 on Instagram. But
watch, as soon as we drop this episode, fucking badass trailers
planning on it. That's actually why I did this, so that I would just will it into existence.
Ahead of the game.
But Matt, you're the one who so eloquently closes us out. So tell the Animaniacs what's up.
Animaniacs, because you guys are definitely in the know. It could be the prequels. It could be the sequels. It could be Hunter. It could be Crosshair. It could be Rekka. It could be Tech. It could be Ray. It could be older Mega. Life can be a beach, but as long as there's no sand, y'all already know Annie's gonna be okay. Okay.
Force be with you.
And with you. Later, nerds.
Deuces.